Welcome everybody to episode 6 of 4NZ Gamers. We have here your regular crew, James Jennings.
What's up?
Dave Watson.
Yep.
James Brooks.
Hello.
I'm Phil Brooks. In case you didn't get it from the title, we are a bunch of Kiwis who love gaming.
Brave.
But gaming's not all we love. Obviously we also love movies, comic books, all sorts of other things, pop culture in general, so I'll try to keep us on track. Got a few things here to talk about, but it may not stay gaming centric. It could go anywhere. It's a conversational podcast. We'll see what happens. So let's get started, I guess. First off, how are you guys?
Good.
Yeah.
Good, man.
Right.
Good.
Good on this
Good.
Sunday morning. And what are we playing at the moment? What are you playing?
What am I playing? I went crazy over this this past week. I've been playing. Usually, I only stick to one game. One game, finish that off, move on to the next one. But I've been playing a whole bunch of Star Wars games. Actually, there was with the Star Wars May the 4th. They had a big deal on PlayStation Network, the Xbox, Steam, and they had a whole bunch of Star Wars games that were discounted. So I bought Star Wars Episode 3.
Yeah.
So I started playing that a wee bit. Star Wars Starfighter. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
I'm big into flight sims. It's kind of dated, but it's still cool. Extra levels for Star Wars: The Force Unleashed 2.
Yeah.
And I started playing The Force Unleashed, the first one, again. On top of that, I was also playing State of Decay on Xbox One, and I've also revisited Destiny because of the DLC starting to come out.
Yeah.
So it's quite a lot.
Busy week. Wow.
Yeah, it was heaps. Yeah, I was playing them all different. I didn't complete them at all, but I was just giving them goes, giving them tastes.
Did you go to work
teasers.
this week?
Yeah, no, but they were a lot of fun. They're really cool. With the Star Wars games, they're on PS2, and the graphics don't hold up, but the games still do. And I found that with a lot of their nostalgia and stuff with these games, sometimes they don't live up to their expectation from when you played
When
it.
you go back to it.
But like with Star Wars Episode 3, that the graphics are dated, but it's still a lot of fun, like a very early Star Wars Unleashed. The bugs are all still there, but once you buy into the time period, this is what it is, this is what you get. And it was a lot of fun. Also, I remember buying it on PS2, and it came out a day before the Star Wars Episode 3 movie.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like a spoiler for me in terms of the movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but they carried on, like the way they killed people or something was different. Spoilers when Anakin kills Count Dooku.
Yeah.
You know, in the movie he beheads him, but in the game he just like outwits him and manages to just stab him, just because Anakin is the better
Swordsman, yeah.
swordsman. So
Like
there are bits of things like that, but then they carried on fights like with Mace Windu being blown through the window, and he just dies. In the game, he gets blown out the window, and then Anakin chases after them, and there's a whole fight that goes up onwards afterwards.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it's kind of it's very game.
Yeah, these movie-based games.
Yeah.
It almost feels like we've gone away from those a little
Yeah,
bit.
there hasn't
Yeah.
been many in a long time.
Well, they're still kind of terrible. Oh, and there was an alternate ending as well for the game.
Yeah.
Spoilers?
Yeah, go on, because I'm not
Okay, so you know, there's obviously like, you're supposed to be the chosen one. You underestimate my power. So there was like, I got the high
I
ground.
remember this.
Well, so they got the original ending on the movie, and the same ending happens, but then they have the role reversal. Anakin's got the high ground.
Yeah.
And he kills Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
And then goes to Palpatine and kills him and takes like the Empire for himself.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it was their alternate ending. It was just really cool to
That's
kind
cool.
of do that
Yeah,
kind of
I
stuff.
remember that. Yeah, that was cool. And it was a 2-player game as well.
It was.
wasn't
They had
Yeah.
a two-player. It was. You
Like
could do the 2-player bits, and they had like if you were 2 Jedi, and you had to go to the next level. So you kill all the guys, and then when you go through the next level, one of them has to like open the door with their lightsaber while the other one protects him.
Oh, yeah.
So that was
we
really
played
cool,
it, didn't we?
yeah.
I
And
think.
you can end up fighting each other at the end.
Yeah. There's
Remember?
once you
I think I do.
the more you completed the campaign, you unlocked different characters, and then it became like a side fighting game. Like Tekken or
Yeah.
stuff like that, and they even had you fought the old Obi-Wan, you had the original.
Yeah.
If you strike me down, I'll be more powerful than you could possibly imagine. So they had that.
Yeah.
So it was really cool to play these older Star Wars games. Obviously, with Star Wars, the movie coming out, and new Battlefield and all that stuff, Battlefront.
Yeah.
I've been starting to revisit the Star Wars
Get your Star
universe
Wars
and
on.
stuff.
Get in the mood.
Yeah. So
Oh, totally. But for everyone else, they've missed out on these deals now. It's just May 4th.
they're still there. Yeah.
Oh,
I actually
it
don't know
depends
if
on-
they're still-
It depends on the network.
Yeah.
Steam, it might have been for a week. It could be on now. I haven't checked, but yeah.
Right.
Well, those ones weren't available on the PlayStation Network. I bought mine on the PlayStation, but they didn't have, like, I was really after Star Wars Bounty Hunter. Now, for some reason, it wasn't on our network, but in US it is. I'm not entirely sure, but there was a game, Bounty Hunter, which it followed the story of Jango Fett.
Yeah.
That was a game I missed when
yeah.
it came
Yeah,
out. That was
same.
something I really
Yeah.
wanted to watch, so I wanted to grab
You guys
these.
had that.
I wanted to grab these games that I didn't try. Even though I had Episode 3, that was nostalgia, but I hadn't played Star Wars Starfighter 2.
Yeah.
It's a spaceship set in the Star Wars universe.
It's supposed to be quite good, though, isn't it? In terms
It
of
was
the
good.
flight sim, it's supposed
Yeah,
to be...
well, it was good fun. It was cool. Again, the graphics don't hold up as well, but
Yeah, for
it's
its
still
time.
just because it's like you got the Star Wars music going on and the classic laser.
Yeah, that's all you need, really.
Yeah, so it was really cool. And it was cool to play Star Wars Unleashed again,
Yeah.
and just having that, like, because the way they made the game was kicking ass with the Force, right? So it was just cool to grab guys, impale them with their lightsaber, electrocute them, and then use the Force to fly.
Yeah,
To
yeah.
fling away. It was like ultimate combo.
Yeah, I never
It
played
was
Unleashed.
very cool. It was good fun. And then along with that, I was revisiting Destiny because the DLC House of Wolves is coming out soon.
Yeah.
So I decided to play that up again, and I really enjoyed it.
Getting back into
it. I think I've been away from it enough now that it was really cool to come back into it and like hooking up with the old friends, and they were like, "Oh wow, you haven't been on in ages," and
Welcome back, brother.
yeah, it was kind of like that.
We need you.
No, they were ultimate levels. They were like all maxed out. I was just kind of the little weakling that they were carrying through the levels, but it was still cool. I was getting exotics again and all that stuff, and I was like, oh wow.
Yeah,
So
I'm
it
pretty
still has
excited
new stuff to.
for the new stuff that's coming
Yeah.
out. So I'm going to get back into it. So I'll wait until the DLC comes out, get it, and then I'll get back into Destiny. But it looks pretty good. I was actually reading a thing online the other day. Apparently there are 20 million players playing Destiny. That's quite a lot of people. Considering how much flack the game received for its story and how many people say they're not playing it, blah, blah. 20 million people? It's quite a lot.
Yeah, because how many play Warcraft
Don't know.
at its peak?
World of Warcraft?
Yeah, World of Warcraft, yeah.
10 or 11 million?
Yeah,
Active subscriptions?
yeah, that's a lot.
So 20
a lot
million?
of people,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it goes to show they've clearly done something right, even though they kind of stuffed up in the narrative side of things. Like, Bungie just does one thing really well, and it's first-person shooters. You feel like a god when you play that game. It's so smooth. It's buttery smooth, eh? Like, I love it. I can't wait for Destiny 2, really, because they're just going to improve upon everything.
Yeah.
You get to have that kind of stuff. Sorry, just before we go on there, another thing I was playing was State of Decay.
State of Decay.
So-
Is that any good?
Yeah, it was really good. Now, I didn't know that, excuse my ignorance, but I didn't know that it was a remake. It was an HD remake. Apparently it came out on Xbox 360,
Yep.
and then they remade it for the Xbox One. Now, the game is hella cheap, and here in New Zealand it's only $30, $29. And it's the game itself as well as all of its DLC. Now, it's just a zombie apocalypse kind of game. That seems to be the theme for all these games at the moment. But for a game that came out a couple of years ago, it's a lot of fun. It's really cool. You can you have your bunch of survivors. You can board up windows, create bases, get in cars, move to different towns, cities. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Just a
I've been playing
survival
that.
game.
It's just a survival game. It does the
I
zombie
kind of went off something again.
zombie apocalypse, it's just the horror survival really well. It's not that scary because you can just bust these zombies with a 2x4, but it's just really cool. Small thing that's like you get into a car, start it up, and then the zombies just turn your way and start chasing, like either chasing the car or coming towards it.
Yeah, the
so
noise,
just the
yeah.
noise and you
all
have
of
to
that stuff.
sneak and
Yeah.
kind of strategize and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, that's
So,
good.
so yeah, that was your first question, but those are all the games I've been playing. How about you guys, man?
Yeah, right, Dave. What about you? What are you
Sorry.
been playing?
Not quite as elaborate as your week, but
It's not usually like that. is
I
it?
don't think the three of us combined will be as elaborate as this week.
I'm sorry.
yeah. Yeah, I've been playing GTA 5. It's been out for a week or two now on PC, so
Yeah.
I've been playing that, online, offline. It's pretty fun.
The heists, have you given those a go?
I haven't actually. You have to be level 12.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right.
Level 12, and I'm like level 8 or something.
Yeah.
I just play it on my spare time. But it's fun, yeah. It's, the typical online experience. You drive past someone, as soon as they see another player, they immediately
Want to kill you?
U-turn and shoot the
Yeah,
shit
yeah,
out of you
yeah.
Try to steal
for no
your
good
car.
reason. I went and bought, my own private cars for my garage, and then they obviously want to try and steal it. It's fucking annoying.
Can't you lock it off though? Like,
You can.
You can go passive mode or something, but I just never get around to it.
I had this dude who stole my motorbike, and I chased him around for ages, and he went to a liquor store and he robbed the liquor store, and while he was in the liquor store I quickly went into passive mode and changed it so he couldn't take my vehicle. You can lock down your vehicle. And then he came back out, it's like, yeah, the sirens are going, the police are coming, he's like trying to get on the bike, and he's like, and I'm just laughing my ass off at this dude, and he stayed there for ages. He couldn't work out why he could not get back on this bike. And then the police came in, boom, and killed him.
oh,
And then I
shame.
just walk up, jump on my bike.
It's kind of like having like a fingerprint identification
Yes.
system. You said, "Oh, activate."
Activate. That was awesome.
Did you the mods? Have you done any of those for the PC?
That's
GTA?
a pretty touchy subject at the moment,
Oh,
because Rockstar is actually banning people
Yeah.
for modding the game.
Just aesthetic.
Yeah.
Really?
Even
I
aesthetic
thought it was only the
mods,
story, not the online.
Nah, online mode and single player.
Oh wow.
Doing stuff like field of view, like increasing the field of view from, I think the base is probably 60 degrees to 90 or something, because of the possible, and I'd call it a negligible difference, where, you widen your field of view and you can see somebody, maybe a second before they see you or something, is an advantage,
Oh, right.
and you get banned for it. But similar stuff for single player is also getting you banned.
But it's PC though. Like it's like the land of
Yeah.
mods that they should be
Yeah.
prepped for
I mean,
that.
they even
shouldn't
said they were open to it, but now they're banning people. So
It's kind of an
That's not
afterthought,
cool.
isn't it?
yeah,
I can see in the sense of multiplayer, like if you're playing against somebody who has an advantage through a mod, and you don't have that mod, you should still be able to play the game the way you want to play it without some dick
oh yeah,
beating you because he's modded his
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
So I can get that, but single player stuff
single
shouldn't,
player, yeah.
shouldn't
And
matter.
they even had some really cool mods on, where you can spawn whales in the middle of the street, and riot mode, where you spawn people and they're all in a set to aggro, and they've
Yeah.
all got guns, and people just run around shooting everybody, and it's
Yeah.
just
Yeah, that would be
they
fun.
start looting shops and stealing cars and chaos.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
that sounds cool.
Yeah. Sounds like a lot of fun.
yeah,
Why wouldn't you want to do
Yeah.
I've been too afraid to touch it because I don't want to get banned.
Yeah, no, you don't.
And how does the banning work? They just lock
Yeah.
you down and you
Yeah,
can't
the
get
game
out?
though.
The whole, the whole thing launches through Social Club, Rockstar Social Club. So I
So
guess
you've got to be always online.
Yeah,
Well-
I think it is actually. Yeah, I've never tried playing offline.
It's interesting, eh?
Mm.
There's a bit of DRM there. So yeah, I guess your Social Club account gets banned
Wow.
or locked for however long.
Interesting.
Have you looked at the movie theatre mode? I know that the PC came up with like a theatre mode so you could create your own videos.
Yeah.
and-
Oh yeah, that's the Rockstar editor. Yeah, it came
Yeah.
out with the PC launch. I haven't tried it yet,
Yep.
but once I get the freedom to fuck around in the game, I'll film myself jumping trains, and which a lot of people are doing, and
Yeah.
setting up
Yeah.
explosions, and looks like a lot of fun.
I think with it, I saw a video. People were making their own videos with their Rockstar editor, and they did like a shot for shot with the Fast and Furious Paul Walker
They've been
tribute,
remaking
Yeah.
stuff,
and it was really good. It was like shot for shot, really well done. I thought it was hilarious. It was really cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
it just shows the freedom that you have in the Rockstar editor.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
Shit, I don't know if I'm that creative.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably be pretty boring.
yeah.
But yeah, I've been playing that Space Marine because I'm into the tabletop game. So that came up in a later a sale. It was $8, I think, for the Space Marine game. Did you
Yeah,
play that on
no,
console?
no.
Oh, that's really good. I really
I heard it
enjoying
was
that.
quite good.
Yeah, it is. The single player is cool and the multiplayer is really fun. So I've been playing that, and just the old game on Steam, really.
Nice. What about you, James?
I'm pretty much doing what all you guys are doing. Seems to be playing old games. So I'm like, I just got back into Marvel Heroes again. They just released a whole pile of new content for the Avengers movies. So you got
Oh, yeah.
new costumes from the movies. Scarlet Witch has the look of her from the film and stuff. So yeah, just playing that. Shovel Knight is another
Yeah.
old game.
Yeah.
I've only just gotten around to playing. I'm playing it on the Wii U, and it's really fun. Like, it's such an awesome game. Just really old school. Like, I thought the graphics at first were going to be a bit jarring, and but it's nice. It's kind of like it's quite a clean kind of color palette. It's quite good.
Yeah, and it's still HD, regardless. Of
Yeah,
whether
it does. It still looks very
16-bit
good.
sort of replica.
I do find the music jarring now. I have to turn the music volume down. I can't have it up too loud. It's that very old school 8-bit beep beep boop,
Oh,
boop,
right, yeah.
you know, and that kind of gets grating after a while.
Yeah.
It is nice, but it doesn't. It's not something you want to listen to over and over.
That's interesting.
But the gameplay itself is really fun. Like you got the shovel and you can upgrade it, and he does magic as well. And there's all this digging and searching for treasure and stuff. So it's pretty cool. And there's lots of bosses to fight, and it's got a kind of a Metroid slight feel to it. Like you are picking up different power ups in each individual level and using those to get through other areas and stuff. So it's And again, it was another Kickstarter game, so it's it's got you can see there's a lot of love in there.
Yeah. It's good to see these games getting kickstarted, eh?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a lot of people our age who used to play these sorts of games, and they're finally in a position now where they can make these games. And with something like Kickstarter around, also enabling them to make these games, putting them in that position, it's really good to see.
Yeah, and I think the more success stories we have out of Kickstarter, the better it will be, because you'll get more what's the word? Like I guess trust from the people that are backing these things, because you've had a lot of Kickstarters go belly up, and people are just like, oh, okay, and but to be honest, I see Kickstarter as a really good thing for the industry. People can invest their monies into things they believe in. I want this game to be made. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I kind of see it as a little bit of a gamble. Like maybe some things will fall through. Like I've backed games from 2 years ago that are still being made. They haven't come out. They were promised a year ago. They're still coming. They haven't given up on them. And I kind of think, well, they're having trouble, but eventually the game will come out and I'll get to play it. But, if it doesn't, so what?
Has it become too ambitious? Like they get too much money, and then
from my experience, it's developers that were probably when they were last actually working in the industry was maybe 10, 20 years ago, and I think the advances that have happened in that time, they've had to play catch up very quickly, and for them, they've suddenly realised, sheesh, I don't know how to do it. Like a lot of them are using the Unity engine, and they're trying to get their heads around that, and it's actually quite an easy engine to use, but there are limitations to it as well, and I think they're finding that kind of tricky. And of course, with any engine, it's the creativity of the people to make it different from other games that use that engine that make it look distinctively different. So I think it's a good thing. I'm still waiting for my damn games.
When you back the games, do you put money towards them? Is it?
Yeah. You get different pledge levels. So you start off at a very basic, like you could pledge $1 just to support them, and I'll just go thumbs up, thanks for that. If you pledge something like $10, $15 or $20, you might get a copy of the game and a heartfelt thank you as well. And
we didn't mean the other thank you.
You pledge well, this is the thing. Each level you go up, you get the thing that came before.
Yeah.
And so you go up, you get the game. Oh, now I get a music soundtrack and a art book PDF, and then I might get a personalised Skype call from the developer to say thank you and ask me about something. Some people pay up to like hundreds of dollars to get
like a blowjob from the creator.
not
comes
quite.
around to your house.
I think they were expecting I'd pay to not have that probably.
Oh, okay.
No, more just like having your likeness in the game, or being able to create a character for the game, be credited as an executive producer, so you get some say in the creative control of it and things like that. But I think it's really awesome. And the other thing I've been playing is on the 3DS. I've been playing Batman, whatever it's called, Arkham.
Origin?
No, Blackgate. Yeah. So it's same thing, same Batman game we've all played on Xbox and PlayStation, but just on a 3DS.
How does it hold up?
It's good. It actually plays a lot like Shadow Complex if you ever played that game. So
that's selling it. That game was amazing.
It's all kind of like it's a 3D world, but you're playing on a 2D
Playing.
Oh, yeah.
So when the camera will rotate and you'll go, you'll walk into an air vent and you'll go in. Next thing the camera will shift in, you're going sideways, and then you go, and it's a maze of different angles and things, but it's really cool. It's just fun. It's just fun to play it on different console, to be honest.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm quite different to all of you guys. You guys seem to be bouncing around between games like bloody game whores. I can't do that. I can't focus on more than one thing at a time. Like I'm playing Assassin's Creed Unity at the moment, and I won't play another game until I've beaten it or I'm bored with it, and I put it down and don't touch it again. So yeah, Assassin's Creed Unity. It's fun, just like every other Assassin's Creed game.
Boring.
I have to mention Assassin's Creed because we're sponsored by Ubisoft at the moment.
I didn't realise it. Are we allowed to do that?
Are we allowed to? I don't know if we're allowed to do that. If not, pretend you can't see them.
We'll just blur it out later.
Yeah, we'll blur it out. It's fun. They've got some really good game mechanics in there that they've introduced with the parkour and stuff. Being able to parkour down, parkour
free
up
running,
and stuff. The free running, yeah. But it's the same old stuff. I love being in France, and I love the 1-to-1 scale of like Notre Dame and stuff like that. It's beautiful, and you can tell being a French company that they've really there's a lot of love gone into the creation of some of the assets in that game. So
except for the accents.
Except for the accents, like the dude's got an English accent. He's French. Everyone's got an English accent. It seems.
I think they had a reason for that. Yeah. I think the animus translate.
It's within the animus. Yeah, it's to do with that. You're supposed to be sitting in your animus playing it, and it's all been sort of configured for you and your experience. So I'm an English-speaking person. I guess I get an English sounding person. Cool.
Hey, just before we carry on though, we're all playing old games.
Yeah.
Or revisiting games.
Yeah.
Why?
Just waiting for new stuff.
Is there nothing new out there?
For good new stuff.
Good. Nothing good out there.
Yeah.
Or just catching up on a backlog of things I haven't played for a while.
There's so many games that you just end up with a back catalogue, and like I'm bouncing back trying to finish games in this lull. There is a bit of a lull at the moment. I mean, I can't even think whatever the last big thing was that got released.
Pass.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah, true.
So there's a few things coming, obviously, and we're actually going to get into those. But I guess that's what we're waiting for, is these bigger games. So yeah, on that note, release dates. So coming up soon, we've got Mighty Number 9. If anyone's been following that was a Kickstarter by the guy who originally made Mega Man, and it is literally Mega Man. It's a spiritual successor to it, but it looks exactly like it. That's 18th of September. We've got Rogue Legacy coming. Oh, it's been out before. It's been on
PC for at least a year too.
Right, but it's got an Xbox One release at the end of this month on May 27th. You liked it, eh?
One of the best games I've played in a while. Yeah.
Right.
It's awesome. Addictive.
Well, get that if you're into your
definitely get it.
Roguelikes. Call of Duty 3 finally got its release date, November 6th. We all sort of knew that was probably going to be around there. Halo 5, it's a big one, October 27th. I think that's one of the first times they're releasing outside of November, which is interesting for them. Mixing it up. Had the final cover art revealed, which is Spartan Locke versus Spartan Master Chief. Looks pretty cool. Have you guys been following anything to do with Halo 5?
No, I kind of got bored of it after Halo Reach.
Oh, really?
I didn't play 4, didn't even touch it.
4 was actually quite good. 343 Industries did a pretty good job of holding onto the legacy and taking it to a new place. There's this cool thing on SoundCloud or Tumblr called Hunt the Truth, which is video sort of audio docs of this war journalist who's trying to uncover the truth of Master Chief's origins and where he came from. And it's sort of like episodic thing. Did you guys ever listen to a podcast called Serial? It's a big podcast, came out last year. It's quite famous. She was sort of interviewing this convicted murderer who had obviously killed somebody, but she was sort of uncovering the truth behind the case week by week. And it was really interesting. And it's sort of done in the same sort of way, and he's sort of trying to uncover what happened to the chief.
Okay.
So yeah, it's really interesting, and there's about 7 episodes currently. So if you guys are interested, check it out on SoundCloud or Tumblr. Hunt the Truth. It's all just
Isn't there a Covenant
stuff.
major character called the Truth in the game?
Oh yeah. One of the
The Covenant.
One of the Covenant.
Seer Council kind of.
Yeah. Truth.
Yeah.
and Regret and all of those dudes. So moving right along, other announcements, Star Wars Battlefront. There was a little bit of trepidation about the fact that there were only 4 worlds mentioned. Everyone thought there was only going to be like a couple of maps.
14 maps.
Well, there's 14 now, but everyone was worried that there was only going to be like 8 or so. So there's 12 confirmed on release, and then there's the 2 Jakku maps that are coming 2 weeks after that everyone gets for free anyway.
That's going to be really cool because that's those Jakku maps. It's like like you were saying with episode 3, like released before the movie. It's like you're going to be playing through the battle that winds up just before the movie.
Yeah,
where it's set,
like set you up.
Yeah.
Like in the trailer where that big Star Destroyer's crashed into the planet. Like I think that's related with those game
really?
maps in some way.
That would be cool.
Yeah, they're tying it right in.
It'd be
so
cool
it's
to
gonna be
have
really
that
cool.
for gamers as well as guys who are into the movie, to have that just go through that battle, then see the movie, and then kind of have that backlog of,
I had to go in there.
hey, this is
That was
going on.
gonna be
Yeah,
really
this is cool. I remember. Well, I blew that Star Destroyer down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the worlds they've created is called Sullust, which has never actually been sort of creatively realised in film yet, but it's the world where sort of all the Empire's war machines are built and manufactured.
Yeah.
And so DICE has got a bit of sort of creative liberty to build this world and make it how they see fit. And it's kind of a lava-y, sulphury sort of mine.
Like that last
sort
one.
of,
like Mustafa and
yeah,
Was it
but it looks
Mustafa?
quite cool. Some of the
Mustafa.
designs for it so far.
Mustafa. Like some Arabian guy.
Mufasa.
Mufasa. It's got the lion level.
That's cool. Yeah, it would be something like that, wouldn't it?
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing what they've done with that world, and of course all the ones that we love and know,
So-
Hoth, Tatooine.
Are these worlds like the
Indoor.
entire game map, or is it like 2 maps on Hoth, 2 maps on Tatooine?
There's 4 maps on Sullust
Oh, okay.
that have been confirmed out of the initial 12. So I guess the other 3 will have a mixture as well.
Yeah, possibly.
so.
Won't be even, obviously.
Oh, okay.
So we'll see what happens, but I'm pretty excited about that. Another announcement is Gears of War HD Remaster. We're likely going to hear more about this at E3 this year because it hasn't been officially announced. It was some source code that was leaked. Classic. But it looks like at this stage, probably next year because it's the 10th anniversary next year. And only Gears of War 1 seems to be what's happening, which is a little
Oh.
odd.
Wasn't it the only properly good one?
Well, it just seems weird to me. Like, if you're going to remaster a trilogy, would you not remaster the trilogy instead of just the first game?
I only played the first one. I didn't bother with 2 or 3 or 4. Is there a 4th one?
Probably yet to be announced. Anyway,
I would say yet to be
we'll-
announced.
I guess we'll see it.
And it'll
E3,
change.
eh?
Yeah, it'll change. Titanfall 2 has definitely been confirmed as a multi-platform title, which we all knew, and the release date is sometime late 2016, early 2017. So,
Well, it's a while away.
yeah, not a lot to know there. Something I'm quite excited about is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5.
Yeah.
Boom! That's been announced.
It's been a while.
It's been a long...
Been
well, the
a long
last
time.
Pro Skater game was 2002. The last Tony Hawk game was 2010.
Oh, they HD remade Tony Hawk 2.
Oh, well, there was that, but that's just an HD. It's still
Yeah.
the same game, which was good. I got that. I
was
loved
hella
it.
fun. I love that game.
So I'm really... They're claiming that they're going to go back to the roots. Just you and your board trying to, spell out skate.
90s rock music.
Yeah.
Not necessarily about jumping off your board and role-playing,
Oh,
there may be
yeah.
some of that. It's still yet to be seen, but they have stated back to the roots, back to what made it cool
That's
in
what
the
they
first
should do.
place.
That's what
Yeah.
made it cool, yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, and we haven't had games like that.
Yeah. It suits the arcade aspect of it. It suits it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That walking around and talking to people and go do this quest.
Yeah.
It's like,
Me and my
oh
skateboard.
God.
My skateboard.
Killer Instinct, if you guys are still playing that in Season 2. Finally, my favourite character has just been released, Cinder.
Oh.
Fire dude.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
So I've been waiting for him to be released since Season 1.
Who's that? Scorpion?
Cinder.
Yeah. Or is he Sub-Zero?
Wrong game.
Okay.
How much?
How much to buy the character?
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know. I think they're like $6, $8 or something like that.
Okay.
I mean, your best bet would just be to buy the actual Season 2 pass and combine that with your Season 1 and you'll get all the characters. There's still one more to come, Arya. I don't know, I don't remember her.
Wouldn't it be nice just to buy a whole game?
Yeah.
Well,
Like you're saying, DLC bullshit. Yeah.
It's getting to the point of being ridiculous. Like, I mean, a character.
I guess
you
it
know?
is weird.
Like Mortal Kombat annoys me as well. Like you're waiting for each of these DLC characters to be released. Just release the whole damn thing. You know, like just give us all the stuff from the start. Don't.
But this is my idea, and I want to make money out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't.
episodic releases.
Yeah,
I don't like
Don't
being
buy it if you don't.
teased. You know?
Yeah, I know.
You know, if you're gonna stick it in there, stick it
I
in
know
there.
what you mean.
Just stick it in.
Yeah.
But I think some
Stick
game
it in
developers. I think some game developers are catching on with it. We talked about some like free DLC coming out.
Yeah, for The Witcher.
For The Witcher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
They're not fucking around.
Some and same. I think. I believe with Battlefront, Star Wars Battlefront,
Free.
they may be doing the same. Yeah. So I think there's. I think the game developers are catching on with that.
Oh, yeah.
On like
They'll
you know,
be-
there's like when it gets to the point of just being like, when is DLC for one character that you're paying for? Is that fair to be charging people for this one level, this one thing, or what's good enough? Like I think Witcher, one of the DLCs for The Witcher 3 is a good 30 hours.
No. That's actually a season pass.
Yeah.
And you
Season
do
pass,
pay for
yeah.
that.
Okay.
That's because that's like an expansion pack with full-on story and gameplay.
Yeah,
and-
expansion
yeah.
packs are different. They're different.
That's cool.
But the
like, that's-
DLC in
that's
The Witcher
content.
3, there's like 16 pieces of DLC, which is like horse armor,
It's skins
Yeah.
and
skins,
stuff like
yeah.
that.
things
yeah.
like that. Things that they're just gonna into the world and give you for free.
Give you for free, yeah.
No, I don't
Witcher.
think it's any story content though.
But yeah,
Yeah.
the season pass it's like an extra $30. The game's like $90 or something, but then the season pass is $125.
What?
On Steam
$125.
for the whole game,
including the season pass,
Including
right,
season
yeah.
pass. So that's the game plus the extra 30 hours of content.
If you've
worth.
got
Alright.
if you've got the first two games on Steam or on GOG.com, you actually get a 10% discount for each game you've got,
Oh,
Nice.
which is a good incentive as well.
I should probably
Um,
pre-order.
They're pretty
mine.
good at
And-
looking
and
after
they-
their
They actually just
fans.
actually, in fact, I think on Steam this weekend, you can buy Witcher 1 and 2 for like $3 or $4. So if you just quickly do that, you're actually going to save yourself money on the third one.
Well, should we go on The Witcher then?
Yeah,
Started
well-
talking about it, yeah.
So yeah, Witcher 3 coming out May
19th.
19th. I'm pretty excited about
Just
it.
over a week.
You'd have to be lacking a pulse, I think, to not be excited about this game. It's
It looks pretty
come on, bro.
epic.
you know, you think people use that term epic quite loosely these days, but I think this word truly applies to this game.
Yeah.
It's taken everything from the first two, and it's just exploded
They've
into
run wild
something
with it, yeah.
huge. It's going to be massive.
Well, what do you think would be the pull then? Because I don't know jack about any of the Witcher games. I saw that they're around. They were usually on PC though to start off with.
Yeah, first
Then
one,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I felt like there's no point. This
Yeah.
third one I should have played the first and second.
Yeah.
Why should people buy Witcher 3?
I think like the story itself is just so rich and like the themes are very mature. The character himself is just he's so kind of unique and engaging, and the thing I like about the most is the fantasy world is very unique compared to the generic Tolkien-esque worlds that we end up with most of our fantasy games these days. You know, the dragons and the trolls and the elves and all that stuff. This stuff has got a very Slavic flavour because it's
yeah.
made. It comes from
Slavic.
Poland, so that you know they're using all of their cultural traditions and all their mythology for their creatures and stuff, and you end up with these things that are kind of similar to the stuff we've seen in other fantasy games, but these things are darker. These things have you got these creatures that feed off the dead, like the bodies from battlefields, these necrophages. And they kind of, you could say, zombie, but they're not. There's something else again. They're like a carrion. They feed off, dead flesh and stuff, and they won't necessarily, just attack the living. So it's and every monster lives within an ecosystem as well. So obviously, near a battlefield or a place where people get killed a lot, these things will live, in crypts and stuff because dead bodies are being put in there all the time and all that kind of thing. So it's just the detail of that alone is what makes the game so compelling. And the story, you talk about not playing the first one.
Yeah.
They are kind of self-contained, which is nice.
So you don't necessarily need to play 1 or 2?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think you could walk into the third one and just having played part 2 in the last year, it did nicely sum up the first game for you in terms of the story at the beginning, and I feel part 3 is going to do that somewhat with this, because what's been happening is over the course of the games he's been searching for someone, and each game it's always been right in the background because the main part of the story is the game, and you enjoy that, but there's this other thing that's happening. I won't say too much because people obviously want to play it and might want to discover it for themselves, but the third one I think you could quite easily play and you'd still enjoy it even without playing those first 2.
Yeah. It certainly looks amazing. I love, just saw a trailer this morning where they were showing all the different monsters, and as you're saying, like, just that ecosystem where they all thrive in, and you have to sort of, you can plan what you're going to do. So when you get there, as you say, to the battlefield or whatever, you go, right, probably going to be facing these zombie things, so might prepare some sort of undead type spell, or if you're in an area where there's going to be, like, say, werewolves or something, you pull out your silver sword instead of your steel sword, and because every creature has its own weaknesses and strengths and ways in which are best to be taken down.
Yeah.
And I just love that diversity. You're not just going to be running around hacking and slashing everything.
No, not at all.
Sounds epic. But you bring it up epic in terms of its scale.
Yeah.
It's going to be a 200+ hour game.
To do everything, or to do story.
To do everything.
Everything.
To do everything.
Everything, yeah.
To do everything. We talk about like the hours put into games and how long should a game be. I don't know about you guys, but 200+ hours is a lot for me.
That's a
for me.
Yeah.
There's in terms of, I don't know, if you want to in terms of for your money, that you buy that game, you're done for the year.
Yeah.
If you're a casual gamer, if you're hardcore though,
maybe
it's
a week.
Yeah, that's what's not selling me the game. A week. That's not getting me interested in The Witcher. I like to get everything. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it's just like, oh man, and we were just talking about a massive catalogue of games, and I have a shitload of them that I'm still trying to catch up on. And if I add this one to the pile, it's just one of the. It's gonna be like Skyrim. I spend 60 hours on it.
Yeah,
that's still not enough because it's a 200 hour. Yeah, exactly. That's all. Yeah.
400 hours.
But even some of the biggest RPGs are really useful. I was just thinking, I was going to say that some of the biggest RPGs that I've played, I think the most I've ever clocked on any of them was maybe 150 hours, and that was Skyrim. But I did like 120 hours in like Final Fantasy VIII. Those are the top end ones. I've never done 200. That's big. That's quite
200 plus.
But
exactly. Yeah.
You're tapping into an interesting idea. Like 200 hours only if you exhaust everything in that game. And I know for you guys being the completionists you are, that's going to be tough.
It is.
But I subscribe to a different path now, which is I go through these games. Try not to treat it like a game. I treat it like I'm the character, and I play through, and I say to myself, right, I'm in the middle of doing something. I'm compelled to go do this. This guy's wanting me to go and take some magic potion to this lady or whatever. No, I'm not going to do that because I want to follow what I'm doing at the moment. So I leave that. I cut off that part of that side quest, whatever it is, and I just go that way. I may come back, but only if it happens organically for me within my gameplay experience. Yeah, I'm not going to go through and tick off every little thing to make sure I've completed everything because I don't think that's a satisfying way to play.
No,
you guys,
it's not.
You guys might enjoy it, but
I think I'm growing out of it.
Yeah. And I think
these games are getting so bigger, and they're all about choice, right?
Yeah.
And Witcher 3 is about choice. So I guess I could choose not to, but because I think I've just grown up with gaming, I think that's just kind of gone into. I'm afraid of missing out something that would be really important that I can't. Get
like you get some amazing sword of truth and.
Well, like a lot of the older games, if you didn't do it then, you got locked off from the level, so you couldn't go back.
Yeah.
So I think I got that mentality. Maybe I just need to change my style.
Well,
possibly.
It sounds like The Witcher might be the kind of game where we can do that. Like take your time, because he's such a neutral character. Like he, apart from trying to find the person he's looking for, like he's a sword for hire. So you can take your time in the town you're in, do the quests, and that's what I'll do. Like I'll play nothing else, but I'll engross myself in the world. Like I'll live it. But
in the sense that James is talking about, not the sense of staying in that town to complete every quest and
yeah.
then move on.
Yeah, I won't
or-
treat it like that. I'll sit in the town, and if I get bored of it, I'll be like,
Time
to move on. I'll
Yeah.
go. I won't. Yeah, I'm not going to do a checklist.
But what if you only need one more flower to collect out of 99?
I've never done any of those quests. I never do them. I can't be bothered.
Could you actually do that? Could you move on knowing you only had one more
Oh
flower?
yeah, I don't even start those quests.
And you can even see it. It's up on the hill
Yeah.
there, but it's
The only time I'll ever pick those up is if I directly cross it with my path, like directly. Otherwise, I will never sidetrack myself with that crap.
Yeah, I do.
I never do.
I stop the experience, and it literally is like I'll play it like you, where I play the character because I love doing it like that, and then it'll get to a point where something happens and it changes, and the path
Ooh,
is
a feather.
obviously this way, but yeah, there's something that's taken me off this way, and I just sort of there's like a cut. It
Yeah.
happens in my mind. I go, okay, I'm not playing the game anymore. I'm just going to go and collect these things here and do that, and then I'll come back here and go, "Twing," as though it never happened, and carry on my experience.
Just pretend you're sleepwalking or
Yeah.
something, yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of choice, how do you guys usually play? Paragon, Renegade? What's your usual thing? You said before that.
Yeah, I'm definitely on the bad side a little bit. Not super evil. Like I don't go through the game like a butcher or something.
Killing children.
Like if you're familiar
Kicking
with the
dogs.
D&D alignment system, I'll be more of a lawful evil, I'd say.
Mm.
Like I'll be bad, but I won't be a complete.
You'll have
dick.
a system in place that
Yeah,
you sort of follow.
I have my limits.
Yeah.
I'll be bad to if it furthers my goal.
So you just like to be that guy that no one wants to mess with, but you're not.
I'm not going to
evil?
kill you. I'm not going to come kill you if you look at me funny or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
How about you, James?
Yeah, I've gone back and forth over the years actually. Like you think of Knights of the Old Republic, you do the light side and the dark side and all that. It's very clear cut. But in this game, you can do whatever. So mine's purely situational. I think. Like I probably don't think about it until I'm in the moment, and then I just pick a choice that feels.
Right.
I guess,
Feels right for the...
Yeah, I guess feels right for the situation, because I've had it in games where he's done something and then you later on it's like, oh man, like that didn't end up very well, and you feel like, but it was just a choice, like, and sometimes you just make bad choices, or you just make a choice.
Reset the game, start again.
Yeah, and
choose the right choice.
Occasionally I have gone online and looked at something just to see what would happen if I'd done something else, and then I go, oh. Actually, yeah, I missed out on that bit of armour because I didn't really say thank you. Like just something stupid like that, and it kind of annoys you a little bit, but then you're just like, well, I think part of the fun is actually living with your choices as well.
Yeah.
That, and
Your original choice.
Yeah, and unless you are a power gamer, I don't think there's anything to be gained from going back and, trying to collect everything and do everything.
Yeah. Well, there's meant to be 36 different possible outcomes for the world as a whole.
Yeah.
So
Based on the choices you make and the things you do, the state of the
But
world.
does that mean that you have to play the game 36 times?
I think, like James is saying, like it's not going to be so. It was either this path or this path. Like it's not going to affect the game as much as it has for other games.
There'll be aspects that'll be closed off to you, I think, at certain points.
All right.
But it's it's not going to be as
But that means, I could come and talk to Dave about what I did, and he might have a totally different experience, and I think that's cool as well.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I always play Paragon, and if I try to play Renegade, it's still a Paragon choice that I do. So I just can't do it. I've told you times in Mass Effect where I've this time I'm gonna play around Renegade, but I'll get Paragon points for the guys that I've shot, killed, or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just can't do it.
Yeah.
And also in some games they make the Renegade because a lot of the games Paragon is supposed to be the right storyline.
Yeah.
And the Renegade almost seems like the dumbed down, and I find in games that you play either Renegade or a bad guy, you end up being like...
It's
not
not
There's the sense that it's not the actual story the game developers wanted me to play.
Yeah. It's never. I find it's never as satisfying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I always walk a middle line. I don't play characters like you do. Like I know you get into a game and you sort of envision yourself as the Witcher, and you sort of you make choices based on the character. Whereas I always just make choices based on me. Like what would I do in this situation? And I find that clearly I'm obviously sort of morally ambiguous. Like I sort of just sit in this middle ground, and I kind of feel like I'm a bit of a Han Solo. Like, generally good,
He's a renegade.
but a renegade. No, but his actions are generally good, or he thinks for himself and does a lot for himself.
He's a renegade.
But it usually comes back
He's
around
a smuggler.
that he's yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, he does assholic things, but it ends up coming back that he will sort of in the end he relents. And, fine, I'll save the princess. You know, like
You probably really enjoy playing Old Republic on PC.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
You can be a smuggler, but it's got good and bad sides.
yeah, I
And
love that.
And Mass Effect style conversations.
Yeah.
But you're saying neutral.
Kind of, so it ends up being this middle ground because you do a lot of sort of nearly renegade sort of things, or they at least fall on that side, and then you end up doing good things as well. And by the end of those games, especially games like Mass Effect, I'm smack bam in the middle, or games like Fallout, I'm neutral, and I hardly ever veer into those evil or good sort of areas, and it happens naturally. Like, I'm not even trying, I'm just being me.
Just boring.
Well, if Han Solo's boring.
You're no Han Solo.
So, okay, that's enough about Witcher. We'll move into the Batman Arkham Knight DLC, shall we? Which was announced recently, and they said it was going to be $50 Kiwi dollars, roughly, and you get DLC. There you go. Are you happy?
Just for the season pass.
Yeah, for the season
$50.
pass. And they originally didn't even announce what that entailed. They just said season pass, this amount of money, which is like half the price of the actual
Well,
game.
yeah, Battlefield season passes have been like $50, and I haven't bought them until they've been on sale.
There's kind of two schools of thought there. It sounds almost arrogant, like you guys are just going to buy this shit.
Yeah,
You know we're good.
Because it's Batman.
that's what it sounds like.
But then there's the other side. It's like, yeah, we will actually.
Yeah.
You know, and you're just like, because you know it's going to be pretty
Pretty good. Rocksteady's
right
pretty
up there.
reliable.
Yeah.
Oh, well, if you don't want it, you won't get it, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to buy the game.
I guess the hoorah came with the fact that they didn't say what the DLC was. The fact that they just said, this is the cost
Season
of a
pass,
season
haha.
pass. And everyone's like, well, why would I spend money on something I don't even know what it is?
Well, I guess they'll tell you soon, wouldn't they?
Well, they did.
They did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Within, after all of the love and affection they got on the internet for that announcement.
Batmobiles.
Yeah.
all
Yeah,
this
they've come in, they've
crazy
said what
stuff.
it is. You get to play as Batgirl. Batwoman.
That girl.
Batgirl, with completely new location and stuff. So you're not even in the area that Batman inhabits. It's a whole new
It's
area.
your own dedicated.
It's
Yeah.
a dedicated
Oh,
sort
cool.
of
A bit like the Robin one in Arkham City.
yeah. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know. You get to play as Batman in some new story missions. You get to play as some of his allies in the game and complete some more sort of their story arcs and see where they sort of went in a prequel and sort of sequel version to the main story. You get Batmobiles,
Skins, yeah.
skins
From the old.
from the old ones.
Oh, yeah,
So there's a whole bunch of stuff
race
that you
with
get.
all
Well,
the-
there's
On a
tracks.
racetrack, yeah,
Yeah, there are
so-
tracks within the game, and you'll just
I
get.
hope they have the old Adam West.
Yeah, man.
Batman from the
I think
60s.
they would have to because they know how iconic that would be.
Complete
and how,
with Adam West skin.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you think they have the original Tim Burton Batmobile? Because that's the first one that I really remember.
Yeah.
And that was a cool.
They'd have to do all
Yeah,
that.
The
yeah, it's
cool
all Warner
Batmobile,
Brothers,
man.
so yeah, they should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tumblr from Batman Begins.
Yeah.
So you've got a lot of scope there, in
Mm.
terms of the different.
Yeah, there'll be quite. Yeah, it'll be
Yes.
interesting and racing against what other people in.
I
don't know how it
imagine so.
works, I guess
They
so. Must-
mentioned the word racetracks.
Yeah, so it must be
So,
a multiplayer.
It'll be interesting to see how that plans out, because that would be pretty cool actually.
Mm.
So you think we'll spend $50 on the DLC then?
I won't.
I would need to
That's
see a
just-
bit more.
It's too
I wait
much
for
money.
Game of the Year editions to come out.
I'll tell you what, if those racetracks allow you to race around but also fight each other with the gadgets, like Twisted Metal, I'd buy it.
Well, because what's interesting is there's a dual play feature that's been announced, whereas you're in the game and you're fighting and stuff, and you just switch out, kind of like in Grand Theft Auto, to another character, and so you'll be like fighting someone, switch, and then Catwoman comes in or something and finishes the move, and sort of you fight together, but you don't get to control them both at the same time. It's like they're not there helping you. They only sort of come in and do like a switch, like a tick and tag sort of thing.
Okay. Like a summon.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, but then I think from that point you take over that character, so you've now switched out Batman.
So just
Switch-
like Injustice isn't the same thing, isn't it? In the fights.
Yeah, kinda.
which is interesting. Cool mechanic, I guess, for gameplay.
Yeah.
Makes little to no sense in terms of story, though. Like, that they're just sort of hanging around watching Batman get his ass kicked and then only come in every now and then.
Yeah.
Oh, you need me? No, you're good? You got this? Okay.
Yeah. Still fun to play those other characters.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Like,
I think game-wise.
I enjoyed playing Catwoman in the other one, but it did make me think, oh, you know, what, could we play Nightwing or someone else? Would be quite neat as well.
Yeah. So, yep, looking forward to that. Batman comes out soon. Release date?
It's like June, I think, or
Yeah.
July, June.
Yeah, because it's
It's
bounced
not far.
around
It's
a
not,
bit.
it's
Yeah.
not far away.
It's pretty soon. June, I think, is correct. Sometime in June.
End of June. Yeah.
All right. And another big announcement is Ukulele, which was a Kickstarter that's been literally smashed all of its goals. Like all they wanted was $175,000 to start with. That was their first goal. They reached that in 40 minutes, and within an hour, they had over £1 million pledged to this game. So it's one of the quickest Kickstarters to take off ever. It's the guys from originally they worked for Rare Games, and they sort of split off and formed this company called Platonic, and the game is like a spiritual successor to Banjo-Kazooie, and it's like an open world 3D platformer basically, which we haven't seen many of those in recent years. They sort of died.
It's just Ratchet and Clank, I guess.
Yeah.
Jack and Daxter stuff, yeah. Kind
Yeah,
of
but
died
it's-
off with PS2.
Yeah, it did. So they're bringing it back, and obviously people are really keen for it because they got a shit ton of money. I mean, they've pretty much made their money on the game already,
Yeah.
and they haven't even made
Who
it.
does it go to then? Is it a PC?
Well, because they've kicked the crap out of all their goals, the game is now... Because one of their goals they said was when they reached like 1 million or something,
Yeah.
they said it'll be released
Multiplayer.
at the exact same time on all platforms.
Yeah.
So there's going to be an Xbox One version, PlayStation 4 version, PC, everything.
That's cool.
It'd do well on the Wii U. Because just looking
Yeah,
at it,
yeah. It looks like a Wii U.
Yeah, the colour
Nintendo
palette, and it looks great, actually.
kind of game.
It's
It looks
beautiful,
really
yeah.
fun. It's been the visual design is from the same guy that did Viva Pinata, and so it's quite cutesy and quite colourful and quite fun.
Yeah.
It looks really good. Yuka is a chameleon, and Laylee is a bat that sits on top of her.
Oh, okay. It's Chameleon.
Yeah, so and they benefit from those sort of powers of the actual animal. So the bat sort of can fly and stuff, and the lizard's like rolling around, and I guess is going to use some sort of camo ability at
Change
some
colour,
point.
yeah.
Cool. Sounds like a good game mechanic kind of.
Yeah, that's what they said. They really wanted to
Game.
utilize the animal, the essence of the animal or whatnot. So they thought really long and hard about what works well together. But it's definitely Banjo-Kazooie 3 for all intents and purposes. They don't own the rights to that, so they can't do it. They probably wanted to do it, and they've made this instead.
Yeah, but this is cool. Like, it just create a whole new thing.
Yeah,
It's
why
cool.
not?
Why
Make
make
it
a
new.
sequel? Make
Yeah.
something new. New IPs.
Yeah.
Bring it on, man.
Totally,
New
I
stuff.
agree. It looks really good, and I mean, as we were saying before about all that Kickstarter stuff, it's just great to see people supporting Kickstarter and seeing games like this that are able to come to fruition because of something like Kickstarter. You know?
Yeah.
Another big announcement is the cancellation of Silent Hills, which is a real shame, especially for someone like me who didn't even get a chance to download PT.
I did. I managed to get it on my PlayStation.
Man, I'm so
Like, I
gutted.
think it got deleted the next day.
I know, it's no longer on the PlayStation Store, so if you're watching this, you've already missed out if you don't have it. In fact, some people were trying to sell PlayStation 4s on
Yeah,
eBay
they
for like
went
like
$1,400.
yeah, ridiculous amounts of money just because it had this demo on the
Yeah.
system, like preloaded.
Yeah.
Did you guys play it?
Yeah, you played it.
No, I haven't.
Oh, you haven't?
I told you guys, I'm shit scared of those kind of games. I played the first 5 minutes of Alien Isolation, and I haven't met the alien yet, and I'm still shit scared of it. But I have it on I want to play it eventually. I think I will, but I'm just too much of a pussy.
Bloody hell! And you guys don't have because it's only available PlayStation 4, wasn't it?
No, it's on 3 as well.
It was on 3 as
Was it?
well. Did
Yeah.
you download it?
Yeah, I played it.
Oh, you did. Okay,
Oh,
what do you think? What your impressions?
It was cool. It was kind of like at first I didn't know what the hell it was, you know. And you're sort of playing it, thinking, oh, you know, what the hell's this? And
Yeah.
then and all you're doing is going through a hallway, and there's doors and stuff. But each time you go through the hallway, something slightly different happens. And it kind of, because I play lots of survival horror, so it kind of reminded me of Project Zero, the ghost one with the cameras. Because I was just because in that game you're not always fighting. Sometimes there's just things happening, like little hands coming out under a drawer and then going back under, or something peeking out from something, eyes disappearing, and it's all that kind of stuff. And I played it right through until I got into a room, and then the door was locked and I couldn't get out.
Oh.
And then all this black stuff starts coming down the walls, and I'm like, this looks a lot like Silent Hill. Because part 3, I think it was, or part 4, had that same... Yeah, it was. Part 3 had the same scene where you go into a room, and next thing, everything starts changing around you in front of your eyes.
Yeah.
The world starts to shift from the real world into the Silent Hill world. And it was pretty scary, and it was a damn good teaser, Like it really drew you in, and it made you curious as to what the hell was this all about, and and then at the very end of it, you get the the actual kind of trailer, I guess, of what Silent Hill coming and all that, and Del Toro's going to be part of it, directing it, and Norman Reedus from Walking Dead is going to be the main character.
Hideo Kojima.
You see his likeness, and of course Kojima as well, and you're just like, holy hell, this is like, even if this game's not that great, this is still a home run because of all these people involved in it. And I just thought, wow, like, I'm excited for this. So when I found out it was cancelled, man, was I pissed.
Yeah.
Now that it's been pulled down, like, what do you think about, like, because this seems to be a big topic on the internet of Kojima and Konami splitting up, and they've taken his name off of things and they put it back in, and he's saying that this is his last Metal Gear. With Metal Gear.
He's been saying for a while.
5, yeah. Well, he says that with all his Metal Gear games. This is going to be my last one, but it just keeps going. Do you guys care? Do you guys mind? Do you guys know enough? Or?
I don't mind that Hideo Kojima wants to go and do his own thing.
That's great.
I think that's awesome. Yeah. And I think Metal Gear needs to be refreshed to some degree. And I'd like to see somebody else tackle that franchise without his nuttiness being involved. Even though I do enjoy the Metal Gear franchise, and I do enjoy his perspective and how he makes those games, he is a little crazy.
Let's say quirky. Nuttiness sounds, like he's...
Sounds derogatory, but okay. But I'd like to see somebody else's take on Metal Gear Solid. I'd like to see what they do with it. And Konami got rid of Kojima because they're just trying to rebrand. They're trying to make sure that, I guess, especially with his sort of imminent departure, they want Metal Gear to be associated with Konami, not necessarily Kojima.
Do you think that, or for a fact?
I think they knew that he was leaving, and they wanted to make sure that when people think of Metal Gear, they think of Konami, not him, because they're going to take the franchise and run with it again. It's not over. Surely not.
But he is the franchise. That's the problem.
And that's why they're rebranding. They don't... From that statement right there.
It just feels like, I don't think, and you know this, that Konami don't just make video games. They do that pachinko stuff and gambling machines. The gaming part for them is just one small cog in a massive machine.
Yeah.
So for them to get rid of him...
And it might not even be the most lucrative cog in that machine either.
Yeah, exactly. And the Japanese do what they want to do in a lot of ways. They just, they don't really care about fan service, I don't think. Like, as far as I've ever seen, they don't give two craps about the Western audience. They just basically release, whatever they feel like. It feels like, anyway, in most cases.
Do you think they're going to stop, they're going to step away from gaming and just do what the casino machines and all that stuff?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Or just maybe just release...
They're bigger in the East than they are in the West.
Yeah.
But just from a business standpoint, if the gaming side of their business isn't making as much money, they don't care. It's not. They're not going to sit there and go, let's, for the fans or for having a gaming department, let's just try and make this work. They'll just be like, it's not working, not making money. Okay, scrap, move on.
Bye.
Yeah, they won't give a rat's ass, and it's really sad. This could be the end of Konami. For all we know, they've delisted themselves from the New York Stock Exchange by their own volition. They're still involved in the in the Tokyo one.
It could be similar to what Sega are doing, because they're all doing a restructuring at the moment. And they seem to have found a kind of a niche of just releasing a couple of key titles, Like Sega seems to be mainly PC now. You've got Creative Assembly, did Aliens Isolation, you've got the Total War series, and then you obviously got Sonic and there's All-Star Racing games, but that's really it. the days of Sega having all those great games is kind of gone, which is a shame. But they all seem to be struggling, it seems. Like, they don't seem to be able to... I remember reading a comment once, and I think this was hearsay, but just a developer saying that they didn't feel confident releasing any games because they felt like the last few games they'd actually released were just so, ill-received that they felt like they didn't want to tarnish the legacy of what they'd built before, and they felt that anything else they would do from here on just would not live up to that. And I thought that was really sad.
That is sad.
Yeah. Because for our generation, those games were what we grew up with and what we loved, and I'd love to see those things come back. And I guess, and here's a bit of wishful thinking. Kojima could go to something like Kickstarter and say, "Hey, I'm going to make this in the spirit of,
Blah, blah,
It's
blah.
Kojima, take my money.
yeah."
And well, we saw what happened with Ukulele. Like, people loved Rare and just threw money at them. If Hideo Kojima went on Kickstarter, oh man,
yeah,
you're a dickhead.
yeah. But going there and making not a Silent Hill game, but
Well, he probably can't.
let's just say a Metal Gear / Silent Hill type game or something.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, some of his Metal Gear stuff did have some horror type themes and some some out of world type stuff.
Yeah.
It would but it comes with something totally original if he wanted to, and that
Oh, yeah.
that would be exciting. That would be cool. So we don't need Konami.
No, but it is sad that they own the rights to these games. So now that Silent Hills has been scratched, like, we're not going to get it now, are we?
But they
It's
still
gone.
lease the license out to other developers because all the last 10 years Silent Hill games have been made by Western developers. They've never quite been as good as the Japanese ones, but they're still fun.
Okay, so they could just do that again.
Yeah.
It's a shame that they had to ditch this project because it looked pretty
not
exciting.
necessarily. Like you were saying, Kojima could just create one. Like, he obviously, people loved my demo. Let's make something not Silent Hills, and I think we were saying new stuff.
Yeah.
Let's do something new, and it'd be cool to see a new horror game hit the scene.
Yeah. Or just anything from him would be awesome. I'd like a space type one, like I don't know, something with mechs, or I don't know, something, just anything, something distinctly quirky Japanese with his touch of looking at girls in skirts and voyeuristic stuff, and
I love how that's the first
In a
thing you
mech.
wish for.
Well, I just think
In a mech.
you know what his games are like.
Ah, yes. Alright, well, so that's pretty much all we have time for this week. Thanks for tuning in. Just so you know, we're going to be coming at you pretty much every fortnight. The show records on a Sunday. It should be up on a Tuesday. We're going to be releasing throughout the week different segments of the show. And then at the end of the week, we'll post the whole show for you to enjoy. If you have any suggestions for segments, any ideas for topics or things you'd like to hear us talk about, please leave them in the comments below. Our Twitter handle is @NZGamers, so you can hit us up there as well. On behalf of Dave and the two Jameses, this has been episode 6 for NZ Gamers, and we'll see you next time.
See you later.